What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Friday Live Q&A. This is Dr. Schilling with Sequoia Health. We are located in the neurofeedback room, so it's going to be nice and quiet. And I know last week we had a bit of a disruption with the pulse magnetics in the background and things like that, so appreciate your patience with that. And then, of course, Wednesday Wellness Minutes, we had technical difficulties as far as the microphones go. So today should not be an issue, given the fact that I'm not using a wireless mic or wired mic. We're going to be getting some new mics anyway, so we'll just give a couple minutes here for everybody to join us. And if you pop on, definitely say hi, and we'll be able to acknowledge you. Got some questions here today, some specific ones regarding exercise and muscle soreness and things like that. Foods, running, and glutathione. Okay, so we'll definitely give a couple minutes here to everybody pop on. And if you have questions that you want to have answered, feel free to type them in the chat. People send them in routinely on a weekly basis in order to have us time to sort of prepare. And I mean, not like it requires a lot of time to prepare, but ultimately we just want to be able to make sure we provide you value and things like that. All right, looks like Sarah Keys joined us. Hi, Sarah. All right, so I hope everybody's staying safe right now. Obviously there's a bit of lunacy going on around the Twin Cities area, so hopefully you are staying, well, not that I guess the slogan safe at home really does count at this point. Basically we're talking about, you know, the incident last week with the gentleman passing over the weekend, and as a result, people that are creating challenges for the rest of society. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of jump in here. I want to make sure we're providing good information for you in a timely fashion. So if you have questions, like Sarah, if you have any questions that you want answered, feel free to type them in below. Otherwise, I will just start commencing with the questions that we've been provided, and we'll go from there. We always appreciate your questions because that gives us an opportunity to provide greater value for you and your loved ones and things like that. So at this point, what we'll talk about is the best way to combat muscle soreness. So if you understand, muscle soreness is really lactic acid and other debris that's built up in the muscles after you've worked out. The best way to clear them is continuing to move. And I don't mean continue to exercise, but if you think about moving your muscles is the best way to get your lymphatics moving. And when you understand that the only way to get toxins out of your muscles is to move them, the last thing you want to do is to stay sedentary. You don't want to sit around. So when you move your body, that's going to move toxins out. Now, in order to get toxins out of your body effectively, what you want to do is make sure you have a healthy liver and well-hydrated body so that your lymph can flow and carry the toxins out, and then your liver is there to receive them, process them, and then excrete them through your bowels. Looks like Ella joined us. Hi, I'm sorry, Alex. Alex, how you doing? Feel free to say hi if you're on the live today. I always like to acknowledge people for joining us. So, best way to combat muscle soreness is, first of all, be mindful of your body. Second of all, understand how your body's working, Alex. And then make sure your detox pathways are working. Make sure your kidneys are healthy, your liver's healthy, you're well hydrated so your lymph is moving. And things that you can eat, you know, for a healthy liver, you know, you can do lemon water with cayenne pepper and things like that with some apple cider vinegar in the morning as an astringent. That's great for helping the liver. You can do things like dandelion teas. You can do broccoli, a bunch of other foods. I mean, just type in Google liver health foods, and that will give you a gazillion different options. So when you understand that, you know you have resources. Just whatever you're curious about. And Google's kind of interesting because they're basically censoring what information you're receiving. As a result, you might want to consider using DuckDuckGo or some other website search engine that's going to help you get information that's unbiased and unfiltered, and that they're not censoring people from providing information for your consideration, because ultimately you're going to have to be the judge of the information you receive to decide whether it's relevant for you and whether it's actually helpful. And then if you have questions about it, whether it's actually valid or verifiable, or whether it is actually helpful for you, and I'm not really sure. I've heard a lot of things, but this sounds interesting. But send it to us and we'll help you understand it, because I can dig into the information and see if it's a valid resource or whatnot. But recapping, combating muscle soreness, healthy hydration, keeping your body hydrated well, moving your body, don't stop. If you're sore, don't just stop moving. You want to clear the toxins, so have a healthy liver, use different things. We have OptiCleanse, OptiClear, endocrine balance, things like that to help clear the toxins out of your liver and help decongest your liver so you can get those lactic acids out of your muscles and avoid that delayed onset muscle soreness. Because pretty much if you work out to a certain extent, you're going to have delayed onset muscle soreness. As a result, you might get some muscle soreness. So just be mindful of that. If you have questions about hitting a wall or getting stuck, just let us know. We'll be happy to provide that information for you. Another question from our number one fan, Kendra. That was her first question. Second question is, what is the best way to get myself back into shape for competitive sports? So I understand that Kendra is interested in getting back into hockey. The interesting thing about hockey, having played it my entire youth, is that there's really no way to train for it. You gotta do it. But obviously inline skating would be great for hockey. Doing dryland training where you're using explosive movements from side to side. Most people think that when you skate, you push your leg back. It's actually for ice skating. If you keep your legs together and you just push out to the side each time, that's going to be the best way to get the most momentum moving forward, which is interesting, but you're basically loading a spring and then unloading it as you push off. And so power skating teaches you to push off to the side and then come right back to the middle and push off to the side and come back to the middle instead of pushing back. You don't want to push back like you're swimming. That's not how ice skating works. But endurance training, so doing sprint intervals would be great for you, Kendra, to do for getting back into competitive sports. Weightlifting, obviously, balancing yoga and weightlifting is a great idea because you maintain your flexibility, you increase your strength by holding poses, and at the same time you are able to complement what you're doing. It's very highly discouraged to do one sport constantly. Like people that specialize, like kids that are playing, let's say, I played baseball, football, and hockey when I was younger. And if I would have just given up everything and played hockey, then basically what would happen was I would have overtrained. So you don't want to overtrain. It's like, hi, Gracia, welcome. So you never want to overtrain one specific sport. Cross training is absolutely awesome. So for people playing hockey or football or any of those, the contact sports, doing ballet of all things, you might not think of it. I don't say of all things, but ballet is fantastic as far as working your strength. Ballet, yoga, working on your strength training, things like that, complement those things. But getting back into it, make sure you're doing, short burst explosive things like sprint intervals for hockey and soccer and even football and things like that. Those are really important because you don't want to just go out and jog. Like jogging, which is one of our questions down here. We'll get to it in a second, but you want to do sprint intervals. I usually talk about looking at nature and say, when you look at nature, do you see any animal going out for a jog? Do you see any animal out there saying, hey, let's go jog 5 miles? I mean, no, they sprint across the road, they climb up a tree, look around, jump around, chase some food, go back. And there's like kids on playgrounds. You don't ever see a kid just running around the playground in a circle, like doing laps. It just doesn't happen. So you want to sprint and stop, rest, or do a walk, jog, sprint. That's an even better way to ease yourself into sprint intervals. Dr. Mercola, I think he popularized an idea called Peak 8. I don't think it was original to him. Maybe it was one of his trainers that taught him how to do it, and he brought it to the general public. But Peak 8's great because it's basically 20 minutes of exercise, and it gives you hours of benefit, not just cardiovascular, but metabolically. So I would opt, kind of teetering on the other question of is running bad, I would say opt for sprint intervals rather than distance running. So I'll provide more information on that in a second, but hopefully that answers your question, Kendra, as far as how to get yourself back in shape. Strength training, flexibility through either yoga or dynamic stretching. You can do hyperbolic stretching and things like that. But yeah, make sure you're cross-training, doing a bunch of different stuff because it can ease you back in rather than just jumping on one thing and doing it over and over, because that's going to give you a lot of that muscle soreness, if you will. Okay? By far the best thing to replenish after you have worked out, Kendra, is to get protein in your system. If you think if you're trying to get yourself stronger, whether it's through endurance or otherwise, you definitely have to replenish your body with its proteins. Get protein in your system within the first 20 minutes of exercise. We talked about that, I think, last Friday maybe. But you want to get protein in your system within the first 20 minutes. That's going to provide your body the tools it needs to detoxify the lymph and get the toxins out of your body, because it's going to support your liver, but it's also going to give your body proteins to start rebuilding the muscles you just broke down. So you got a double win there. Depending on the length of your exercise and the intensity, you may need to put some glycogen back in there, some glucose, and that would be positive in the way of complex carbohydrates. You don't want any easy refined garbage that's going to put in your body. It's going to spike your blood sugar, because that's going to increase your inflammation. You want to maintain low inflammation. Anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids are great. You could use things like creatine and L-glutamine. Those are both things that are going to help hydrate your muscles. L-glutamine is really good for your gut lining as well, to help plump up your enterocytes, the cells inside your gut wall, and so that you don't get leaky gut and stuff like that. Depending on so there's a lot of different ways you can do. Branched chain amino acids are really important. So if you're taking a protein powder or a protein supplement, or any type of protein that doesn't have branched chain amino acids in it, you want to get those in your body. Typically they say before, during, and after. If you're training for something you really want to excel, branched chain amino acids are great. But that would be my best recommendation, is to get high quality protein in your body within the first 20 minutes after you eat, work out. So that can be animal protein, it can be plant protein, whatever you want to do. Generally speaking, I recommend people stay away from whey protein. Whey protein, even if it's a whey protein isolate, that's a very unstable molecule. Once you get it out of the dairy product and you process it, it's basically broken down and now going to be more of a tax on your body than it is a benefit to your body. So keep that in mind as far as staying away from whey. I mean, we used to carry Da Vinci whey protein, which is New Zealand grown grass-fed cows, which in theory is great. But once again, once you start teasing out different molecules outside of dairy, it's going to cause potential damage to the protein molecule and or whatever else you're trying to put in your body. Let's see. Running. Is running bad for your body? Generally speaking, if you know anything about the history of running, I mean, not that it actually, the inception of it was back in Roman times, but there's the fable or the story of the guy who ran a marathon, right? He actually ran to the city of Marathon. And it was about delivering a message at that time. I don't remember the whole story. You can look it up. But from what I understand, the person ran 26.2 miles from where he or she was to Marathon, and then ended up dying, from what I understand. What you should consider about that type of endurance training, whether you're doing 26.2 or 50K or 100K, 150K, there's people that do these crazy marathons. Unless you're trained like Wim Hof and you know how to go through the red desert over in Arizona and without any water, and you can manage your biochemistry like that, highly unlikely you're to that level unless you practice it. So it's been shown that every person that runs a marathon suffers some type of cardiac damage. Okay, looks like Alec may have a question. Yeah, okay, so he's talking about the story about marathon. Yeah, so running feels like death to Alex. Yeah, good. I think you will feel energized and empowered and strengthened and really invigorated by doing sprint intervals, Alex. I think those are really beneficial. I personally do them myself. I think the greatest examples of how humans, being the considered the most evolved animal on this planet, moves their body compared to how animals do it. The other, quote unquote, lesser life forms of squirrels and dogs and cats and birds, and they sprint and stop. They don't just go, even waterfowl like geese that fly thousands of miles when they migrate, they fly for a while and stop. But they can also like spread their wings and just float on the air. So you have to consider how much energy you're expending and how much effort you're expending during that time. But generally speaking, if you want my professional opinion on what is best for your body, and that's not to say what I'm making a choice for you, but as far as what it does to your body, distance running is not ideal for optimal health. It tends to cause what's called chronic cardio, which can raise your cortisol level, which will raise your stress hormones and cause catabolic aspects of your metabolism, so it'll break down your tissue rather than building it up. And I just say, consider for a second, look at the Olympics and look at the people who run marathons and look at the people who run sprints. Like you look at the people who, Usain Bolt and things like that, compared to the marathoners. And marathoners are super, super lean, tend to be a little bit drawn out in the face and stuff like that at times, depending on what age they are and stuff like that. But then you look at the sprinters and they're like stallions of horses, right? So think about the strength and the power and just what it appears. Just look at the outside and judge for yourself what the inside might look like. So I would strongly encourage you, not to beat the dead horse, to sprint interval, use sprint interval exercises as far as your cardio. It's going to last hours of benefit afterward. You can blunt the inflammation process by putting protein in your system within the first 20 minutes after exercise. So you're going to get a lot of benefit. It's going to boost your growth hormone, your testosterone, which men and women need, so don't get worried about that word. But anyway, stick with sprint intervals and stay away from distance running. Okay, if you're doing anything more than a 5K, you're doing it for more than exercise. Okay? All right, what else? Are fermented soy products like natto and tempeh big estrogen disruptors, or are they okay to eat with a vegan lifestyle? Basically, it doesn't matter if you're talking about a soy product or any other product. Moderation is best. So I'll start off with that saying. What you might consider is that, yes, there are certain estrogen-like foods that are, I hesitate to use the word harmful estrogens, because your body produces everything. So we're not going to get too far into the nerdy world of the different types of estrogens, estriol, estradiol, estradione, and stuff like that. But there are different estrogen pathways in the breast tissue and in the ovaries and uterus rather. But what you want to appreciate is if you're eating non-GMO organic soy products in moderation, you should be just fine. Okay. Now, I was a vegetarian and a vegan for a while. I found that didn't work very well for me, just for my preference and my lifestyle. I definitely think I was healthy, although when you're vegan, you have a decreased ability to produce arachidonic acid, which is your omega-6 fatty acids, because you're not getting enough of it. Not that you need to eat a ton of animal protein, and I know that there are vegan all-stars out there that would disagree, but as far as science and research goes, it's like Ted joined the party. Hey, Ted, you want to consider that your body needs inflammation as a healing tool, and what you don't want is too low of the inflammatory, because inflammation is one of your body's most effective means of thwarting threats and or damage to the body. And if you have a decreased ability to produce that arachidonic acid and the omega-6s available for your body to produce that inflammation, it's going to be a problem. Okay, it's going to cause you to heal more slowly and less effectively. Okay, so don't undermine everything. So if you're a vegan, consider typing in I think there's like someone said like a 1-to-2 or a 1-to-4 for omega-3 to omega-6 ratio. The standard American diet, which is the acronym SAD, is actually super high in omega-6s, so like 25 to 1, 25 omega-6s to 1 omega-3. Generally speaking, it's probably even higher at this point, given all the food-like substances we're eating. We eat a lot of processed food, not a lot of real food. So when you consider that, I think that some organic non-GMO natto or tempeh is just fine. You want to moderate it. You want to measure how much you're eating as compared to the rest of what you're eating. So don't go crazy on anything. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing, and but no one thing causes any one thing. Like if you're subsisting off of purely soy for your protein source as a vegan, then that's probably going to be a problem for you, because you drink too much water, you can die, and if you eat too much soy, it can throw off your hormones. But eat it in moderation. Okay. Let's see. Next question is, how do you maintain healthy levels of glutathione in your body? Is there a supplement that actually helps with this? Absolutely. You can take glutathione by itself. You can take supplements that recycle your glutathione. You can do coffee colonics or coffee enemas that boost your glutathione by 200%. There are different foods you can take that will boost your glutathione by itself. So there's a lot of things you can do to boost your glutathione. Glutathione is your most powerful antioxidant in your body, and as a result, it's good to have optimal levels of that. Not everyone should take glutathione by itself. Generally speaking, there's a balance for everyone. So I rarely recommend glutathione by itself. I think the body's capable of producing whatever glutathione it may need. However, sometimes people do need a boost, and so I know myself, I take glutathione on occasion. I don't take it every day, but if I'm under excess stress or if I'm have eaten some foods that I don't normally eat, it's definitely a possibility. But what you don't want to do is play the nutraceutical game where I have this symptom, I'm taking this for that. I mean, at times that's important, but if you're treating the symptom and you're not treating the root cause, then you're setting yourself up for perpetuity, like just perpetually taking the things over and over and over. So what are you going to do? Take glutathione for the rest of your life? I mean, would it hurt you? Most likely not, but could it? Sure. Again, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. So when you think about glutathione, think about it as playing a role in your body, but it's not the end-all be-all. And if you want to naturally produce your glutathione levels or increase them, do a coffee colonic. They are absolutely healing, great colon hydrotherapy, getting all the phytochemicals and the phytonutrients from the coffee into the portal hepatic vein that goes up into the liver. And I think of it as opening a trap door instead of having the coffee come in your mouth and having your body have to detoxify it through your phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. Plus you deal with the diuretic aspect that's increasing your metabolic rate, which is going to cause you to lose more fluids. So in this case, you put the colon hydrotherapy in, absorb some of the water, take in the phytonutrients from the coffee, and then evacuate it from the bowel. And then not only do you have a healthy, clean bowel, clean by meaning you clear out the feces, not clean by being sterile. Don't ever assume sterile is a good thing. And if you don't know that, then watch our previous one about are you too sterile? That's a previous Wednesday Wellness Minutes. And but yeah, so glutathione's a great thing. Should it be your main focus? Not likely. Someone who is going through chemotherapy and other things like that and radiation, probably a good idea to boost up your glutathione big time. But generally speaking, you don't want to do that as a rule of thumb. You want to make sure you're addressing root causes of challenges. If your body's not able to produce the glutathione, then ask why. Is it a toxin? Is it an injury to an organ? Is it microbial imbalance, something like that? It just depends on what you're dealing with. So if you have a question, then send us an email, send us a text, whatever you need to do. Our text number is 651-728-1390 if you haven't texted us before, or info@sequoiahealth.com. That's SECOYA health.com, as you probably see the name on the app you're watching this through. So that is going to be helpful as far as understanding that. So who else has got questions? Somebody calling me from Indiana. All right, cool. Okay. I don't know what the purpose of do not disturb is when you have these things, but apparently they get through anyway. So what else can we provide value on for those of you who are watching? You have a question for, asking for a friend? Do you have a question that you're worried about being somewhat embarrassing? I can guarantee you if you have a question, then other people have the same question or same curiosity. And you don't have to spend years of your life going to school and studying like I do every day, but basically a lot of opportunities for misunderstanding, a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of people who try to present themselves as gurus and they don't do the peer-reviewed research, they don't look at PubMed and things like that. Really what you want to do is understand that, take the information, double, triple check it if you want to, understand that you have to do what feels right for you, and there has to be experimentation. You have to experiment to see what works for you. Like, I can tolerate a certain level of non-GMO organic soy, like tempeh and natto, but I may be able to tolerate less than another person, and I might not be able to tolerate it at all. It just depends. Pay attention to your body. Whatever you put in your body, look for a sign from your body that it's better because of it, that it's not stressed out. As we mentioned before, if you sneeze, cough, clear your throat, have a runny nose, eyes start itching, start getting gas, those are all signs that you're having an adverse reaction to whatever you just consumed. It could be a liquid, it could be a food, something like that. If you're always around a certain person, if you're always in a certain environment, those things can trigger your body to have a reaction as well. Always pay attention, and not in a hyper vigilant, like paranoid, obsessive compulsive way, but just be curious about your life and your body, like what's working, what's not, how is this affecting me, and things like that. So it's just helpful to say, I wonder why that reaction's happening. What information can it tell me? What's my body trying to tell me? Your body is your best feedback mechanism. It's going to help you understand what you need to know about what's working and what's not working. And if you understand that if you have a symptom, runny nose, sneezing, coughing, clearing your throat, gas and bloating, loose stool, those are all indications your body's processing something. Now, if you need more information on how to get to the root cause of that and understand why it's happening, that's my job. My job is to help you understand what your symptom is, where it's coming from, how to get rid of it, and how to never have it again. Okay, so if you don't know, if you haven't heard me say that before, doctor means teacher. And you need to have your doctor helping you understand what's going on in your body and not just giving you something to take. We had one of our new participants start her care yesterday, and she was basically understanding that she helps a lot of people in her practice, but she realizes that people are frustrated because they get better for a little bit, and then what happens is they regress. So, looks like Alex put something here. Absolutely, Alex. It's our pleasure to provide the service for you. Anytime we can provide you value and service, just let us know. We're happy to do so. So, understanding what's going on in your body and having someone help you with that and getting over it permanently. That's why we use QNRT, because QNRT helps rewire your brain. If you need a certain supplement or a certain thing that is over and over and over, like this young lady asked about glutathione, if you constantly need something, there's something happening inside your body that's a breakdown in the system. Your body is the most powerful thing on this planet as far as healing and capability of creating things, I'm telling you. So if you can understand that, if there's some type of limitation, then you want to understand why. It's not enough to just say that I have a symptom. You need to understand what it is, where it's coming from, how to get rid of it, and how to never have it again. So challenge every person you work with, every practitioner you work with to provide that information from you, or for you, I should say. So what I'm obsessed with is helping people with their structure, helping people with their biochemistry, and people with their neuroemotional health. Because if I can help you in all areas of your life, then I'm going to provide you the greatest benefit of anything. So, we joke around here, and you can, fire your therapist, fire your chiropractor, and fire your dietitian, because your body knows what it needs and wants. I can help you with that. We can help you with that as a team. Overcoming limiting beliefs and negative patterns and inherited negativity or anxiety and stuff like that you picked up from your family, that's what QNRT does. And when it comes to biochemistry, understanding your hormones, understanding what's working in your body, what's not, and then also looking at your structure. Because in the absence of trauma, your body breaks down on the inside before the outside. Therefore, if you have a pain in your body, if you have a weakness, a strain, it only became injured because you had a predisposition to that in the first place. When you understand that if you have a problem in your body and you haven't fallen off a ladder, fallen off a roof, tripped over something, landed on your face, been in a car accident, hit by a car, your body should not hurt. If you have pain in your body, it's coming from the inside. It's your body telling you, say, hey brain, I need help over here. Excuse me. Your brain is what's perceiving everything. And if you have a sensation in your body, wherever it might be, your brain is interpreting that signal and trying to tell you something. It's trying to say, here's my check engine light, I need some help over here. And when you understand that, then you're free, because then you can talk with someone like Sequoia Health or some other organization that can help you understand what it is. So I'll just challenge you with that last idea. Make sure someone's teaching you how to help yourself. Make sure someone is teaching you what your symptom is, where it's coming from, how to get rid of it, and how to never have it again. Because that's absolutely critical for you to understand what's going on, what's happening, how to overcome it yourself. Okay? So let's just take a peek here. All right, so just give a couple more minutes, see if anybody has any questions. Got a full day in the clinic here. Our nurse practitioner, Tai Wo, is doing 8 IVs and 2 PRP injections, which is pretty exciting. That's a full day for a nurse practitioner. A lot of juggling going on there. A lot of people getting help. There are people doing pulse magnetics. Our team's reaching out to our participants, making sure they're on the straight and narrow, achieving their goals and achieving what they want in life. So we're excited, super excited about our expansion. They're painting the other side today, which we should move over that side and somewhere in the middle of June. We'll take everything on this side, move it over there, and then they'll gut this entire side, and then we'll come over here and we'll have 2 regenerative medicine rooms for IVs and regen cell therapy. We'll have 3 treatment rooms for QNRT and chiropractic brain balancing and nutrition exams, and we'll have a big room for PEMF. Plus we'll have an exercise lab for doing PT, neuromuscular re-education, stuff like that. And we'll have a room specifically for IVs and one for neurofeedback. So super excited about having that opportunity to serve our participants, our community. You know, I was looking up different words the other day about how to describe our tribe. You know, what you individuals are like and how to best describe you. And words in my mind came up as misfit and rebel and trailblazer and stuff like that. And you start looking up the synonyms for those, and it's kind of interesting to see what people describe. Like misfit's like this derelict and this, you know, like the anarchist and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, you know, my context of misfits, like thinking about the counterculture, going against the grain, going away from the herd. Like if the herd's going that way, you just go the opposite way, because you know if the herd's going one way, you're going the wrong direction if you follow them, because they're just being fed whatever information. And that goes for health, goes for wealth, goes for intelligence and everything like that. So, you know, it's just exciting to have individuals like yourselves, people who are tuned in, turned on, switched on, that are excited about health and wellness, excited about preventing disease, promoting health, and enhancing quality of life, because that's what we're obsessed with here. I and every one of our team members are excited about that. And you know, when we can provide value to you and your family members, then we can create, if you think about a drop in a calm pond and then the ripples, or maybe throwing a stone in a pond. You know, we're not here to try and revamp or reshape or change the current medical system. If you think about it, what it does, it works perfectly well. It saves your life or keeps you alive. And once you get past the crisis stage and you're ready to go into enhancing your quality of life, that's when you step into the natural healing world, because our medical professionals, as good as they are at saving your life or keeping you alive, they are not trained in optimizing health and wellness. So you just have to understand who you need to work with at what stage of your development. And if you have a broken arm, broken leg, you have your leg torn off, you're bleeding from the inside, you have a brain bleed, stuff like that, you go see a medical doctor, because that's what they are the absolute best for, and they're with, and you know, they're taught a certain way and they're great at what they do. So if that's what you have, you go see them. When you're ready to enhance your quality of life, when you're ready to feel your best, sleep your best, eat your best, drink your best, walk your best, move your best, think your best, and poop your best, that's when you go see a natural practitioner. So that's what we're obsessed with, and that's what we look forward to providing value for, because people have usually tried about 12 different things by the time they land on Sequoia Health's doorstep. And it's unfortunate they try all those things and feel like they're failures, but what they are excited about is when they finally get somewhere where someone's going to teach them how to help themselves. Yeah, you have a symptom, but your symptom's telling you something. So what's your symptom, where's it coming from, how to get rid of it, how to never have it again. Okay? So I'll give a couple seconds here to see if anybody has any more questions. And oh, absolutely. Is there a difference between stretching exercises when toxins leave the muscles? Difference between stretching and exercise when the toxins leave the muscles. So Alex had a question. Great. I'm not sure how it ended up on that little. I guess I'm not very good with Instagram, so just looking at it here. But yeah. So as far as okay, so stretching is lengthening a muscle, Alex, whereas moving your body, exercising, is going to create pumping action. So whether you don't need to do like pumping, like pushing stuff. Looks like Melissa joined and Bill. How you doing, bro? Bill, excuse me. But so answering Alex's question, stretching is not going to move toxins necessarily. It will to a certain extent, but not like moving, like walking and things like that. Walking is one of the best things you can do for yourself. And if you start pumping your arms when you're walking, not like you want to be the power speed walker on the sidewalk or anything, but when you move your muscles, that's when you move toxins out of your muscles. Okay, so stretching is really thinking about lengthening the muscle, and you always want to stretch at the end of exercise. You never want to stretch before exercise. Stretching before, doing static stretches, like grabbing your leg and whoop, stretching your leg out like that. That's gonna tear some muscle fibers, and you never ever want to do that before you exercise. You need to do some type of dynamic movements, some type of exercise that's getting the blood flowing before you start trying to lengthen a muscle. Okay. Whether you're doing, what do you call it, PNF, peripheral neuromuscular rehabilitation or facilitation, whether you're pushing and releasing, that's a great way to stretch once you've exercised. You could technically do some mountain climbers, some jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups. You could do some squats and then do some foam rolling, and then you could start trying to stretch your muscles and lengthen them. That would be a great option. But Alex, just to make sure I clear that up, stretching is not meant to move the toxins out of your muscles. Based on Kendra's question, you want to exercise, gentle exercise. Foam rolling is great, but also make sure you have proper hydration and make sure that your liver is cleansing well. So some key indications that you might have some liver stagnation is sinus congestion, plugged ears, runny nose, sneezing a lot. What else? Swollen neck, tension in your neck. Like if you have trouble turning your neck side to side, that's an indication you guys probably have some swollen lymph nodes in your neck. That's going to be lymph congestion, liver stagnation, stuff like that. Those are just some key points to keep in mind as far as how to determine whether your liver's clearing up well. Paying attention to how your body reacts after food and after drink. If you can pretty much eat or drink anything without a runny nose, sneezing, coughing, clearing your throat, phlegming, stuff like that, then you should have a pretty healthy liver and very few food sensitivities. So that's about that. I'll give a couple more minutes here if anybody has any questions. I'm glad I actually pulled that up because that's a great question, Alex. So if anybody has a question, feel free to type it in the chat. If you are doing a watch party, do remember that we cannot see that if you type a question in the chat party or the watch party, because that's shown to the people you're showing your watch party to. And if you need to actually type it in here for me to see it and actually have an opportunity to respond to it. But fear not, if you have a question that you're like, oh shoot, I should have asked, no big deal. Just type it up, send it to us, send us a DM or text it to us, or call us or email us. Text it in at 651-728-1390. That number again, 651-728-1390. Or you can email it in at info, which is info, @sequoiahealth.com, which is SECOYA health.com. Or the clinic number is 651-738-7800. And or if you need to go on our website for more information, obviously sequoiahealth.com. Pretty simple. All the information you could ever need or want is there, and any questions that are not answered on those, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or our website, then feel free to email it to us, and we will be happy to get that information back to you. Okay? Give one more minute here, see if anybody has a question. I can see why we do neurofeedback in this room, because it is absolutely, you hear a pin drop in here. It's super quiet. I know we've had some challenges as of late with the audio visuals, so it's kind of nice to sit in here quiet, things like that. Let's get this super comfy recliner. If you ever come in the neurofeedback room, it is comfy. Oops. I'll just throw it on the ground. Hear the SNL skit song in the background. I'm sure Melissa knows what that is, since we joke about it here all the time. Okay. All right. So looks like everybody's had their questions answered for this week. We'll be coming at you next week with the Wednesday Wellness Minutes. If you have any inspirations for questions or Wednesday Wellness Minutes or things you would like me to take a deep dive into, feel free to again, text it to us, email it to us, or call us in with it, or DM us on Facebook or Instagram. We'll be happy to provide that information. But since everybody seems to have their thirst quenched by this information, we're going to sign off for now. We will look forward to bringing you more information that will enhance your life and the life of your loved ones next Wednesday for the Wednesday Wellness Minutes. And we're going to be doing some cool things in the future about supporting local businesses, because obviously, as you know, a lot of people have been hurt significantly, if not wiped off the face of the earth as far as their businesses go. So we're going to start reaching out to local businesses that we admire and we support, and we're going to be plugging them on different live segments and things like that. Getting you to get engaged with them, because they're great and they're providing awesome service and value for you and our community. So look forward to that coming in the future. But other than that, for right now, we'll sign off. Everybody have a great weekend. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much this weekend. Get outside, have some fun, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week on the Wednesday Wellness Minutes. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.